everyone, and welcome to Shit Moms Won't Say. My name is Jess Ader-Ferretti, and I am the person I have here tonight is like sort of a big deal in my house. I don't know how else to describe it. On top of being a yogi extraordinaire, the co-founder of 3 Trees Sway, mommy to 4 boys and 1 very, very cute little girl. She's also the woman who held my wife's other leg during childbirth and had to yell at me and be like, "That's your kid's head, idiot. That's her head. You see her? That's your baby." Liz Sendrowitz, our doula. Yeah, I think it was pretty close. It was like, I think it was nicer. It was like, "Jess, you may want to look down. I think that's your first daughter."
"You idiot!
You idiot! Fucking look at that! What's wrong with you, you Neanderthal? That's a baby." And I was like, "That thing?" And it wasn't great.
Turned out great.
It turned out great. Yeah, she's great. You're great. And Katie did great.
Yes, she did.
Katie's a champ. So I think like the burning question though that all of our fans have. How did I do?
First and foremost, amazing.
Did I?
Amazing. It was awesome.
Are you saying that because you're at my house?
Maybe. No, not at all. Not at all. It was awesome.
Oh.
It honestly goes down as one of my favorite births. And I really am not just saying that because I'm here.
Even though you got pulled over on the way.
Well, that was because it's a great story.
Please,
okay,
go ahead.
So, I was following you to the hospital. It was what time?
Well, I checked the text receipts this morning, and it was
you did?
3:02
It was
a.m.
3 a.m.
that you texted me.
I was right. And I got pulled over, but the best part is the reason I got pulled over. We weren't speeding. We were going a very reasonable speed.
Yeah.
I had checked my text, so I thought maybe that's what the cops saw, but it wasn't. It was because I was trailing you, and they thought I was a creep.
They thought you were trying to kill us.
So they definitely thought I was trying to take you guys out. So it was a woman. It was actually a female cop, and I was like, "I'm sorry, but that's my client. I'm a doula," and she was like, "Go." And that was the end. It was quick. It was very fast. It was great. But it makes for such a good story that it still goes down.
Really
folks
did.
Is a great
well,
part.
and like you didn't even know. Like you had a headlight out, so I had texted you, and I was like, "Liz,
yes.
your headlight."
And that was the other thing. Yes, I know.
And you're like, "I do."
I know. Of course.
I didn't know that.
Well, that's my life.
But that's Katie luck, right? So like I told my wife, if she didn't have bad luck, she would have no luck at all. So like weird shit like that always happens. We're having a baby, our doula got pulled over. We went for our first date for sushi. Restaurant was out of sushi, literally just out of sushi. Like not a like Monday night closed thing. Like we just don't have any tonight.
Nothing. Oh my God.
So that's our life. So I want to jump into like the big mom 3, right?
Yep.
So I kind of prepped you, but I didn't really prep you. I sort of said like we may talk about these things.
Right.
So
okay.
the first question: did you always know you wanted to be a mom?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
From a young age.
From a young age. Sort of like 1.5 then. Did you always know you wanted a gaggle of children? 5. Yeah, 5 children.
5. That's a yes and no. I think I love the idea of a big family. I come from a very large family, so
how
my
big is
extended family is big.
3
I only
girls?
have I have 2 sisters, so there's 3 of us. But my extended family is extremely large. My father is one of 9 kids, and my mother is one of 6, and then my grandmother remarried to a man who had 8 children. So it was a combined family of 14 kids.
That's a lot of kids.
So my dad's side, I have over 30 cousins, and my mom's probably similar. So I come from just like large family gatherings and like, I don't know, lots of love. Plenty of dysfunction, but lots of love.
Yeah.
So I guess the answer is kind of combined. I never knew I was going to have 5 kids.
That's a lot of kids. That's like for me, like 3 too many
Too many kids. Yeah, I mean, I think around when I had my 3rd, I thought I was done, and then
surprise!
Yeah.
No, you're not. Psych.
Right, exactly. Pretty much. That was pretty much it.
That's how it went down.
That's how it went down. Yeah, that's pretty much how they all went down. To be honest with you. Yeah, exactly.
Do what you gotta do. I'm very excited for this question only because you've had a lot of interactions with a lot of like parents in different age groups. Mm-hmm. So, what is the like shittiest and or like most backhanded piece of advice you've ever gotten from either like a mother or a parent? Although I had somebody answer and be like, "This was just some bitch that had no kids and had an opinion."
Had an opinion.
The worst.
You know, this one really tripped me. I feel like it might be boring, but I think my truth is that the worst was kind of this inferred advice, which is like where we come at the bottom of the list. Everybody comes first, like the kids come first. Everything comes first and the moms are at the bottom, right?
So like you lose your
you lose yourself. And like you just, you know, as far as the totem pole goes, like you're at the bottom. You know, kids come first, house comes first, the job, whatever it is, and then your needs are at the very bottom.
You eat last.
Yeah, and the truth is that, I mean, I say that it's inferred, but I've had many conversations with moms who are like, no, you don't do that. You do this first. Like, you feed them, and then you do this. So, yeah, it's...
You can't pour from an empty cup, though.
Exactly.
So...
Exactly. Right, so that, I mean, I guess it's kind of boring.
No, it's not. It's not.
I wish I had a better story for you.
I think that's like almost like, maybe it's not an old wives' tale. Maybe that's the wrong wording for it. But like, it's almost like it's a deep-rooted belief.
Yes, absolutely.
A systemic belief, if you will. Systemic.
I agree. It is.
Systemic.
You said it.
Political word. Whoopsie. Okay.
It is.
Moving.
Very much so, though. I agree with you.
It is. It's that, like, you know, once a woman becomes a mother, that's all they are.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with being a mother. You have so much more, though, too.
Yes.
I think that's what makes a good mother.
100%. And I think if we try to undo that, it's a little controversial, a little uncomfortable for a lot of other people.
We wouldn't want anyone to be uncomfortable. Oh my God. Uncomfortable?
I know.
Oh. I think we should stop filming. People might get uncomfortable. Oh. That's too bad.
I like that. Oh.
That's too bad. Are you uncomfortable? Big mom question number 3. And now I'm realizing I'm saying big mom, and somebody's gonna be like, what'd you call me? We're gonna get it.
I'm a big mom.
Very
cool.
Big mom. Big mom's house. Big mom question number 3.
Yes.
What's like a skill or like superpower you had before becoming a mom that you feel has really helped you as a mom?
I think it's having fun. I think I seek it, I love it, and I haven't been consistent over the years, like life happens and things come up, but I think I still can fall back on being a fun mom.
You're fun, yeah. You're a fun person. So like, it comes through.
Yeah. I laugh a lot. Like when I was a kid, they used to tell me, like, you know, stop smiling. Shit like that.
Could you imagine telling another human being to stop smiling? Unless you're like at a funeral.
Right.
Like a very
I've done
sad.
That. I've done
well,
that.
Me too, because I'm just, like, I'm uncomfortable. But I also, you know, like when I started this, my whole thing was like, I want people to be on that can laugh at themselves 100% of the time.
Right.
There's like a little bit of humor in everything.
Absolutely.
Like I like Amy Poehler a lot. So like I've read Yes Please a couple times. I'm mid-listen again. So like she says something effective like, I've laughed at the most taboo shit out there. Mm-hmm. You're so boring if you don't.
Yes.
Like everything has a little bit of humor. I don't care what it is.
Totally. Agreed. In fact, I think the next generation is kind of my older son. We just had this conversation and it's really interesting because I can feel my mother coming out in me. And I'm like, yeah, it's never good. When you're like, eesh, like that's not funny, you know? But I get it.
It's a little funny.
Yeah, it's a little funny.
It's a little funny.
Yeah, they're a little darker than we were. It's cool.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Speaking of dark, you're a doula.
Yes.
So you've seen the darkest, most cavernous places out there. On how many women? How many births
I don't have
you
a
attended?
count. I don't have a count. I have to go back and count them. A lot. I've never been like full-time doula status. It's a part-time situation. So,
which is crazy because you're so good at it. Like,
thank you.
Well, I told you when Katie brought up the idea of having a doula to me, I was like, fuck no! Like, for what? Like, you don't trust me, what are we gonna do? And then Liz walked into my house, and I basically fell at her feet, and I was like, whatever you tell me to do, I'll do it. Like, I literally don't know what would have went down that day if you weren't there. Just because you're so, like, and I don't know if it's all doulas or if it's you, like, you were so good about being like, well, maybe Katie should stand this way, and Jess, maybe you should go get a cup of tea. Like, you were very good at managing the day.
That's interesting that you say that. That feels like such a big compliment, to be honest with you, because I think that's always been my goal, and that's how I approach being a doula. I don't come with a big bag of tricks, tennis balls, and bands and this and that. I don't do that. I've never approached it that way. I've always looked at it that that's my job, is to sort of manage the energy of the room.
Is that how you would like describe it to a Neanderthal like me?
Yes.
Like that's how.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's usually how I explain it to all partners, is that I could never replace a partner in a birth, ever. That's not my job. I wouldn't want to, right? The intimacy that's there is obviously next level, and that can't be my job. But I can take a step back and be one step removed and manage the room when you can.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. So I know you don't have like a count on births, but let's say like
years. I've done it
years.
Since, so I became a doula after I had my fourth, and Max is 6. So I would say, I think it was like that winter-ish. So yeah, it's about 5.5 years.
So 5.5 years worth of breastfeeding.
And I usually would do a birth a month.
That's a lot of births.
That's a lot of births.
That's a lot of births. So you've seen like all different kinds. So
All
I have
different kinds,
Is there a right way to have a baby? So now you're telling me if someone has a C-section or drugs or natural, that's okay. They're still going to have a baby?
Yes.
That is
that
is a surprise to me.
Mind-blowing, right? Right.
I don't understand.
I
Well,
know.
so 5 kids, so you've had like all different
I've had all
kinds.
different,
Did
yes.
you do that as a resume builder? Or?
No, but it makes for a great
I couldn't even get it
interview.
out. I thought that was such a funny line that I was laughing as I said it.
I
So
love it.
thank you. I need sound effects in this show.
I
for
know.
My
We like
one-liners.
emojis and
How
yeah,
terrific.
that was perfect.
Thank you.
No, that's great though.
Thank you.
So no, yes, I've had I pretty much. I mean, I haven't had all types, but I've had a lot. So yes, I've had medicated, unmedicated, and I had 2 sections.
That's like most types.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's like the basics. I had the basics.
Minus like twilight
Emergencies.
birth.
Yes,
When they just knock you out.
Yes.
That's I think what I would have to do. I know it's like illegal now, but I think that's the only way I'd be able to give birth.
Oh,
As if
some of
you,
the
like,
drugs are
knocked me
kind
out.
of along the lines of that. I had one client that was great. She took, I forget the name of it, to be honest with you. I should know it. And she would fall asleep and wake up in a contraction and go like this.
But I
Go back to
wouldn't
sleep.
I wouldn't even want that.
It's too
like
much.
I don't want any of it. That's why I won't carry a baby. But like if I did, that's what would need to be done. You need to knock me out like 3 days before and wake me
3
up.
full days.
Like
a week after?
I like the 6-month range. Like that's when they get really fun. So maybe like around 6 months you can bring me right
then you're
up.
ready.
So 4 boys and then you got your girl.
Yes.
So Katie and I, my wife, we operate under this like assumption, I guess, that even if we don't agree with someone else's parenting choices, I don't think any parent makes a choice thinking like this is the second best thing for my kid.
Right.
So with 5 kids, I'm sure you have opportunities to make the first best choice. Like right now, like we were just talking about school.
Right.
You know, going back to school. Right. I don't know if you could see. She just fully crossed her eyes, rolled them in the back of her head, and went like, "Fuck everything."
Yeah. Pretty much. That's what I said.
She did. It's recorded. It's on this microphone. You'll hear it. How do you make the first best decision for all 5 kids? Like I can't do it for one.
Right.
I don't think anyone can.
That's the
That's a
answer.
good answer.
Nobody
That's an honest
can.
answer.
You know, I don't think there really is such thing. Like, it's so many moving parts, and yeah, I guess as a mom of 5, there's always one that's going to be the loudest at any given time, and that's kind of my very simplistic rule of thumb is, you know, that does get attention first, and it can bite me in the ass, and it has. And I wish I could do better at times with that specific idea. But, yeah, it's, you know, there has to be these moments of like pulling back and taking the full picture into, just like being a doula, right? Like pulling back and looking at the whole picture and seeing what would serve everybody the best. Someone's always gonna get the shit end of the stick, and then someone's gonna win.
That's fair.
You know?
It's a fair. I'm glad you weren't like, well, here's how I manage it all. Because Liz has one of those Instagram lives where like every picture you post of your children, Katie and I are like, are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Like, are you fucking like?
Really? Of course
gorgeous. Are you kidding? Like you and your
This is news
sisters,
to me.
all this shit you post, we're like, this is a sick joke. Like, do you know how long it took me to look like this today? Like, my face is sweating.
So
and
is mine.
But like, this took hours to put on a flannel. Like, it's infuriating.
Wow, that's news to me.
No,
so
it's
okay,
real
I can
good.
say that my sisters, I think my sisters are two of the most beautiful women. I
They're
know.
gorgeous.
And
Gorgeous.
so my one sister is also a photographer. So that is also a game changer.
It helps.
That's a huge help. But that's funny because I swear I don't see myself like that. Especially my own Instagram. My Instagram is such an afterthought. I mean, that's bullshit. I shouldn't say that. I definitely think about it if I post something, for sure. But I don't think I've ever set something up for Instagram.
Interesting. Well, now I'm like even angrier. I hope you know that. Like,
But that's not true
really...
of my 3 Tree Sway stuff. It's not true of that. That's
Right.
definitely more thought out.
Right.
But my regular Instagram is just real home.
Well, like, but I feel like, so you know, your 5 kids. Like, I feel like you capture like their personalities really beautifully. So I don't know if that's thought out or not. Like, I feel like I know your kids just by how you portray them.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think their personalities are loud.
They're just loud people. I think people
Which I
feel that way
love.
about Lily too, though. They like look at my Instagram and they're like,
Yes.
she's
Yeah,
nuts.
like you can tell when someone's a character, and
Yeah.
I think as parents that really love that, like I don't think I've ever shared a picture of my kids like standing up against the wall holding hands. Like that's just not my.
It's not you guys.
Yeah. And they would never do it. And
Well, that's it. Yeah.
so, and I that's one thing I love to do is like honor who they are as kids and as humans. So I guess I probably choose those moments because they do speak to who they are.
Well, that's cool. That's great. That's really
I guess.
cool. So
That's
speaking of
right.
your kids, though, so
Yes.
4 boys and then you had your
Yes,
girl.
my girl.
Are there any like inherent differences?
Between boys and girls.
Yeah. Which like what a like
that's another loaded
crazy
one, right?
gender question.
Maybe, I
We're really
know,
getting
we're
in there
getting
now.
digging.
But like even just, you know, like you just said to me, like Lily's teething, and you're like, oh, that's sort of like how Maybell
Yes,
teethed. Like,
yes.
are there things like that
Yes.
that you notice, you know,
Yes.
different between the two?
Yes, I wish I had more girls, haha, to really have a true comparison, because I do believe all of my children are very different.
Yeah.
Like, all 5 are so super different. But there is differences. I look at Maybell and I think that she looks at situations very different than the boys ever did. Which I do see it as female, and I don't know if it's just because she is the girl.
Because she happens
you
to be
know,
a
she's
girl,
also
yeah.
only 3. She just turned 3. But I just see her taking things in very differently than the boys do. And it doesn't mean that they weren't inquisitive and thoughtful. They're all of my boys are extremely emotional and very
Nice
thoughtful
boys.
and yeah, and like
Yeah.
and different. They're not, you know.
What's the breakdown?
My oldest is 17. Took me a minute. It's crazy that he's 17.
Like, I can't imagine being 17 and like having you as a mom. I'd be like, this is cool. Like, that's pretty cool.
Well, he still likes. I had him when I was 25, so I still am on the younger side of most of his friends'
Yeah.
parents, and I think he still kind of thinks that's cool, but I think that's where it ends. Because I'm still his mom. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's like anything else. I think some things they do think are I'm different
Yeah.
than most moms
Yeah.
when I was doing school.
Yeah, of course.
Because I have a tickle now in the COVID.
Well, I have you talking. Yeah. You're tickling the COVID era. Oh no.
It's a little scary.
Well,
so.
you'll notice we are 6 feet
Yes.
apart, whether the camera says it or not. A full 6 feet because I measured it.
There you go. That's amazing. But yeah, so then I have 17, 15. Quinn will be 12 the end of this month. Max just turned 6, and Mabel just turned 3.
Wow. That's cool. I mean, it's amazing.
It's a lot of it's a lot of
lot of
ages.
kids.
Yes,
It's a lot of kids.
it's a lot of kids,
Yeah,
but it's good. And the boy-girl question is so hard. There are so many things that stand out that seem obvious, but maybe aren't that obvious. I don't know. I think that's the simplest way to put it is that she seems way more thoughtful and like observant than the boys do. Like I feel like the boys dive in, and
Yeah.
she's like, and she's not hesitant. She's a badass, and she does things that I'm like, that are no different than the boys. Like climbs, gets rough, all of that. But she takes everything in, and she remembers. You know, this is a good example. My mom keeps this little basket. My mom has a pool at the house, and she has a little basket of like their bathing suits and towels that they go to, and extra clothes. That every time the boys come in, they're like, Mima, where's my bathing suit? You know, like, ah. And Mabel at 3 walked in today, walked right over to the basket, grabbed her bathing suit, and was like, can someone help me? You know, like,
right. She's like, I did it myself.
I know where it is, guys.
Right, I don't need
it's
your
been
help.
here for, I don't know, 2 months.
Sometimes I feel like Lily looks at me like that. Like, I obviously fucking know that.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, well, you can't even talk yet,
you,
so.
Yeah, she could like make my coffee.
Sometimes I think she might. Like, things get done around the house, and I'm pretty sure I didn't do it.
Yes,
you
she
know?
might have.
Like, she turned a toy on by herself yesterday, and I like whipped my head around, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, she flipped it on.
Yeah, I believe it.
A monster.
Yeah.
A monster. Very cute.
Super cute.
Talk to me about Three Tree Sway. This is like, it's so cool what you guys do.
Thank you. It's kind of a dream come true in so many ways, for so many reasons. First of all, working with my sisters is definitely.
So it's you and your sisters have
Me and my
created it,
sisters, yes. Me and my 2 sisters. So one lives upstate New York, about 5 hours away, and then my other sister is like around the corner from me. We all individually do our own things and have for years. Me and my older sister we work together on projects similar to Three Trees Sway, but very different. Always in the same vein though, of trying to like make space for ourselves to feel better and to feel more whole. And yeah, so this came about, it was my sister Rebecca, my older sister, who lives in she's up near Syracuse. She's the one who was like, I think we need to do this. And both Mary Kate and I were like, okay. Like, I like the idea, but both overwhelmed with life. And she kind of pushed a little bit, which was great. And we sat down and we were like, okay, we need to do this. So we run retreats, which obviously right now is a funny conversation because of COVID and quarantine. But it only started, it's going to be almost a year ago. A year ago around now is when we started really starting and building. And it's really, our whole point is for us, we needed a break.
So it's a selfish business.
It's 100% selfish. Everything about it is selfish.
It's the only kind of business I do.
Yeah, we get to work together. We get to create things that we love. And you know what we need in life. And one of the things that we needed was like an exhale. Like we needed a second. We needed a hot second from our lives.
Well, you always say like take a pause. Like take a pause. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a beat.
Yeah, exactly. And we like to make things beautiful. My younger sister specifically is really good at that. Like,
so like if somebody went on a retreat, like what could they expect? Like what do you guys do?
So it's all based on nourishing, like your soul, like nourishing you. So that means body, mind, spirit, right? So phenomenal food and really good conversation, move the body, like yoga, hikes, and the mind, like lots of really great conversations. Some are prompted, some are just really cool things that happen when people get together. And good music. Like we kind of try to pay like the love is in the details, you know?
Yeah.
And there's nothing groundbreaking about Three Trees Sway.
No, but it's like an interesting concept because you're right. You're really creating like this sort of like chick party, right? Like a bunch of people to get together and be like, we all need a time out.
Yes.
Let's hang out. But you're facilitating that.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
we say we like to
it's cool.
create a space for people to feel comfortable. That's the goal. Is for people to be able to take a step back and remember who they are.
Well, and it kind of goes to like the worst piece of advice you've ever gotten.
Yes.
You know, like
100%.
that you have a life outside of being mommy.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Have you guys thought about anything you can do now, or is it just sort of?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, we have.
Are you ready to share your details, or is it not happening right now? And if the answer is like, shut up, I will.
Well, it's gonna.
Thanks for blowing it up.
No, it's cool. We've been building some content, and we've been building, working towards a way to do this at home.
Oh, cool.
To bring this to people And we're not sure where we're going to be in a few months, right? So
Yeah.
kind of have both on the table, right? Like figuring out how we can do this from home and how we can do this in person again. We're not ready to let go of the in-person
And I don't
ever.
think you shouldn't. You know, that'll
Right.
come back around.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
Just can you do it in the interim?
Yes, and in the meantime, also Mary Kate's about to have a baby, so there's that.
That's right. She's super pregnant. So, and like,
She's
what a
got a
great
month.
time to plan anything when you're so pregnant.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
But she's
Wow.
good. She's willing. She's good. She's a game, like a real like team player, and she's a cool one.
That's awesome. Well, that's great. Where can people follow that?
Instagram, 3 Trees Way,
Great Trees Way.
and Legion to Everything. That's really where we do everything. Is on Instagram.
Cool. I'm gonna start wrapping this up. This was like fairly painless, right?
It was fun. I had fun.
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 I had a good
F-U-N.
Yeah.
Hear that? I'm fun.
Yes. I
About
stand
time
by it.
someone spoke the truth about me. I'm gonna ask the same question I ask everybody.
Oh, yes.
What is one thing you wish you knew that you know now before becoming a mom?
I think I wish I knew that there's no right or wrong way to do it.
Now, what do you mean by that? I just want to confirm what you're saying, is that people can do things differently and still be good parents.
Yes.
Wow, you have really blown my mind a few times today. I can have a baby however I want and have
raise
different
them.
opinions from other people.
You can raise them however you want. And
Yeah.
you can change your mind as a parent.
It's a good piece of advice.
Right?
I like it. That's a good one. Well, listen, thank you for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
So excited to see you. It was so nice to see you in person and, you know, not just your Instagram life.
Which I'm going to go look at.
It's really good. You're going to be like, I am so impressive. Holy shit. Now you're going to be like, you'll be a little bit embarrassed, but then you're going to be like, no, she's right. I got this locked and loaded. I think you'll be happy I pointed it out. I do. I think you're going to be proud of it.
I'm gonna have to like post a picture of like a messy room, maybe.
No. Keep living that dream, whatever it is.
My house is a shithole at all times.
Well, it never looks like a shithole, Liz, so thanks for keeping it real all the time. And thank you guys for tuning into Shit Moms Won't Say. You can check out all of our social media. I will post it at the end of this video. And have a great night.
Bye.